Hey everybody, this is Mr. Storm, and in this video we're actually going to create our first 3D game. This is going to be a marble rolling game where we can roll a marble throughout a level and pick up collectibles and stuff like that. It's going to be pretty fun. I'm really excited. I love 3D game development in Unity because Unity makes it incredibly fun. And the best part is with 3D, there are actually fewer assets than we need. That we need than in 2D. In 2D, there are tons of assets we need to worry about. In Unity 3D, I hope you'll see by the end of this video, we can make a really fun and engaging game with assets that we just already have in Unity, just basic geometric shapes. Now, the couple of assets that we actually do need first are the scripts, right? So we need to make sure we get in here and download the scripts. Let's download her. Oh, hello. I will put them on my desktop. Why not? Player controller and camera controller. It's taking quite a bit of time. And the rotator. This is going to be great. Rotator. Okay, so now once those have been downloaded, we need to import those into Unity. I'm going to create a new folder called scripts. And in my scripts folder, I just want to move this out of the way, add these scripts that we've just imported. So those are the only assets we actually need for this game, are the scripts that I've written for you. Okay, let's actually start building our game. So notice that we have a camera and a directional light. Now my camera and my directional light might be facing different ways than yours are. It might be a bit different in color, things like that. That's just because this is the same project that I used to make the previous video you watched where I taught you how all the differences between Unity 2D and 3D. So in this video, we are actually going to set this up for our game. I'm going to keep the light the same way. And the good thing about a directional light is it really doesn't matter where you put it in the scene. It will just continuously shine light in that direction. It doesn't have to be from the genesis of the light itself. So we'll just keep that up and out of the way. The camera, however, does need to point directly at our game. So let's go ahead and I'm going to create a new 3D object. It's going to be a plane. And I will reset it to the 0 position, 0 on all three. And let's take a look at the camera. The camera's positioned pretty well so far for our purposes here. Okay, so for me, I'm just going to use this one plane, right? My camera is going to be relatively stationary. I'm going to use this one plane. You guys, I want you to make a much bigger game than what I'm going to make in the next 10 minutes or so, because your game should be better than mine, right? All right, so now we have a plane, but we don't really have a level built. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add some cubes into the game. And let's bring them to origin as well. And I'm going to hold shift and snap my cube so that it's exactly the right height. And I will also hold shift and snap my cube to the very edge of my game. And it doesn't need to be that thick. So I'm going to change the scale. And I'm going to snap that in. Oh, that's a very, okay. Let's snap that into, let's say 0.2. That should be enough for there. And then I'm going to extend this out. And that's roughly it. Let's make this 10. Okay. Now I need to move it back to the edge again. So grab my move tool and shift, move it over to the edge. So there we go. We have one wall built. Fantastic. Now that this wall is built, I can actually duplicate, and then drag him over to the edge as well. And let me come over here so we can see and make sure we're getting right on the edge. Beautiful. Now we need a front or a back. Let's duplicate. Now for him, I want to rotate on the Y 90 degrees. Let me just put it in. There we go. And then I will shift him all the way to the back. There we go. And then I can duplicate that one as well. Duplicate. Okay, now these are just plain white. Oh, there's a little, it's just a little bit. Oh, hello. I might need to not use the snap settings. There we go. So these objects are just plain white objects, and the lighting makes this look a bit gross just because, let's see what the camera's saying. Yeah, camera needs to come up even more and then rotate down a little bit more. There we go. So I'm already seeing some issues with my lighting. For one, the shadows are very, very dark, and I don't really want that. So maybe I just want to change the rotation, the direction of my lighting a bit, so it's a bit more overhead. But I can also change the intensity of my lighting. Go about there. I can change the indirect multiplier. And actually, let's try no. Nah, I want shadows. I don't want hard shadows though. I want small or soft shadows, and then I can lower the strength a bit. Okay. Yeah, that still looks pretty gross, but it's good enough for today. And I'm seeing some jagged edges there that I could fix. But I think I want to fix a lot of this stuff with something called a material. Now materials, I'm going to go back to my assets folder and create a new folder and call it material. Materials. Oh, I spelled it wrong. How about we spell it correctly this time? M-A-T-E-R-I-A-L-S. I don't know what that was. All right, so materials are essentially just something you wrap around an object to change the look of it, right? In 2D, we had sprites, which was just a 2D piece of artwork. In this, materials are basically like they're the skin of the object. And for us, we're going to create some materials for the wall that we have here. So I'm going to go to create. I'm going to create a material. Now, I want this to be an opaque material, right? Oh, I need to rename the material here. Let's rename it. I'm going to call this environment. Oh, so I want this to be opaque, meaning that it's a solid material. I'm going to pick like a aqua blue. We can change the metallic of this to make it a little bit more shiny, and we can change the smoothness. I'm going to drop the smoothness down and make the metallic a little bit more. And then, you know, all this other stuff we could play with, but I'm not going to. Watch what happens when I drag this material onto this object. Look at that. That looks pretty great. Now, I'm still having some issues with the walls here, so let's actually fix that with another material. And I'm going to make this, yeah, you know what? I'll make it completely white, but I'm going to increase the metallic and lower the smoothness a bit. Oh, no. There we go. And change the source to albedo alpha. That way it looks like a shiny, like, wall material. And I'll drag this onto the walls itself. So it kind of looks like a gray, like a shiny gray plastic wall. Now, this doesn't look great yet, but that's okay. We're going to play around with our lighting a little bit more. Plus, we're going to see what it looks like when we drop our ball in here. So let's actually do that now. Let's go ahead and drop our ball in here. I'm going to create a new cube. Nope, not a cube. And delete. I'm going to create a new sphere. And I am going to set it at origin 0, 0, 0. And I will bring the sphere up until it is sitting pretty much directly above. Now again, my level is super, super tiny. I want you guys to make big levels. And you can bring in really any 3D object you want to make that happen. You can bring in, you know, let's say a cube. Bring it up here, just for example. Make it really, really big. And then rotate it to make like a ramp, you know what I mean? That your ball can go up, and you can make like full, you know, like cool levels and stuff. Again, do whatever you want to do. I'm going to do a very quick and dirty level just to show you essentially how to build this. But you guys should be spending a lot of your time developing a level that actually looks good. Okay, anyway, so those are my walls. They look pretty gross. I'm going to play around with them in a minute probably. Let's come up with a good material for my ball here. I'm going to try red. A red-ish color, maybe a dark red, maybe a burnt orange. And I'm actually going to make it super metallic. And actually, no, let's change it to albedo alpha. Let's make it a much lighter color, like a pink. And drop the smoothness. So I think my lighting is what's really playing around with this. Let's change the lighting really quickly. Okay. That's better. So I took that yellowish tint out of it, and it made everything look a lot better. Go back to my material. Change this back to like a pinkish. Let's do it like purple maybe. Oh, am I changing the material on my walls? Well, that's not ideal. That's okay. Let's make my ball just completely white. How about that? And make it really metallic. Nah. Yes, we'll make it super smooth. And we want, yeah, we want albedo alpha. All right, I'm gonna drop that on my ball. All right, so now my level looks a bit better. I could do with, you know, a couple more minutes of farting around with the lighting and stuff, but I'm not going to. Okay, so now at this point, I have a level. I have a ball, a main character essentially. Now I just need to add some scripts. So I'm going to take my player controller script and I'm going to add it to my sphere. And when I take a look at my controller script, I can see that I have speed, which is, let's say, 10. I have count text and win text, which I'm going to do later, and then total pickups. I'm going to set that to 100 for now, just so the game doesn't automatically finish. So, oh, nothing's happening. Why would nothing be happening? Well, maybe because I don't have a rigid body attached to this component. So I have a script here that's referencing a rigid body that doesn't actually exist. So let's do that. Rigid body. Now, you are used to clicking rigid body 2D because you've been developing in 2D. Now we're developing in 3D, so we just need the actual 3D rigid body. I'm going to continue to use gravity. Yes, please. I'll make mass 1. That works. All right, now let's test it out and see if she works. And she does. So the ball moves around based on user input and collides with the walls. Now notice we didn't have to put up any colliders that's a really handy feature of using these objects in Unity 3D. They already come pre-built with colliders on them. Okay, now I'm getting some errors down here in the console. Object reference not set to an instance of an object, player, controller, set count text. Yeah, it's getting mad at me because I haven't set my count text and my, what is it? Oh, count text and win text. So here's what we're going to do. Let's do that right now. So let's create a user interface. I'm going to create a text on my UI. It's going to take a minute. All right. Now, UI is something that will take a bit getting used to. All right. So this whole thing, let me just double click on the canvas. This whole thing is our canvas. It's essentially our screen, our video game screen. Now, there's a little bit of text over here in the bottom left-hand corner. If I go to my game view, I can see that that text is down there. I don't want it down there. I want it up here, and I want it to be bigger, and I want to make all kinds of changes to it. So I'm going to just drag it up here. I want to anchor it to the top left corner of my screen. Now, anchoring is important because if your player is playing this game on a different size screen and you don't have your text anchored, then it's probably not going to look very great. So in this text, I want the text to be count. Sure. I'm forgetting how the script exactly writes this, but we'll play around with this and see what happens. I can choose a different font. If I have a font package on my computer, I can actually just drag it into here and choose a different font. But Arial is what we're stuck with by default. I'm going to make it normal, or I'm sorry, bold. I'm going to make it a lot bigger. And I've got to expand my text box there a bit to make it work. Let's check my game view. Okay, that's a pretty good. All right. So that is there. Now I need to set up I need to set the count text object to be that text box. Now the win text. So I need another text object inside my canvas. And I'm going to change the text there to you win. And I'm going to make it much bigger. And let's put it right up there. Let's see, how does that look? Okay. Maybe I want to change this to white. So the color, let's make it white. Let's make the count text white as well. So I'm just changing the color. And I'm going to make you win bold as well. I forgot to do that. So bold. Okay. So that looks pretty good. Now, when I play this game, hopefully, oh no, I still need to set the reference. So the you win text is this. Now, the way this script works is it replaces count with a total count of the amount of objects I've picked up in the game. And it replaces this UN, and it turns off the UN text until the amount of pickups matches the total pickups. So anyway, let's click on that. So the count is 0, and my win text went away. So you can see that our user interface is working properly. Okay, we're at about 20 minutes, so I want to very quickly get through the rest of this. Let's see. Let's go back to our project window. Let's go to our scripts. And we have a camera controller, which I'm going to drop directly on our main camera, and then take a look at the script. So the script needs a reference to the player object, which is the sphere. So let's go ahead and play and see if that works, and it does. So the camera moves around with the sphere. If we want to offset this by a little, we absolutely can. We just move the camera a bit. So let's move the camera a bit. You know what? I'm not going to play with it because we're running out of time. I don't want to spend too much time. So the camera script works. All you have to do is drop that in. The last thing we need are collectibles. So I'm going to create a collectible. So I'm going to bring in a cube. I'm going to bring it up to about, I'll just bring it here for now. Press F to focus on it. I'm going to make the scale 0.25 by 0.25 by 0.25. I'm going to rotate it on a couple of axes to get it kind of diagonal like that. I will grab, let's say, the wall material and put it on there. So we have a bit of artistic consistency in our game. I'm going to move it down into the level, let it hover a bit, and then I'm going to grab my rotator script and attach it to the cube. So now the cube has a rotator script, it has a box collider, and if I take a look at my player controller script, I can see that whenever I enter a trigger collider, then I increase the count by 1. So this needs to be a trigger collider. So on this, I need to set it as is trigger. So now that this is created, I can actually create a folder called prefabs because I want to prefabricate this object. I'm going to drop this cube down in the prefabs folder, turning it into a prefab, and now I can make as many of these as I want. So this is at 0.7 on the Y. Let's make it 0.5. And let's do the same with this guy. Make it 0.5. Let's create another one. Make him 0.5. And then I'm going to play my game and see if my rotator script is working, which it looks like it is. So those things are rotating, which makes them look a little bit different than everything else in the level. And I'm going to run over one of them and see if I can increase my count, which I don't. Oh, I need to tag these as pickups. So let me go into the prefab object here. I want to tag it as a pickup. So let's create a new tag. Pickup. Save. Let's go back. And then mark it as a pickup. Okay. I believe... Oh no, it's pick up. Okay. Can I not edit the one I have? All right, well, I'll just pick up. Sometimes it's got to be really picky, right? Okay, this is going to be pick up. And then we will come back here, make sure all of our prefabs are marked as pickups. Pick up, pick up, pick up, pick up. All right, I'm going to look at my sphere again. And actually, I want to go to the script here and just verify that that was the one thing I was looking for. Yeah, if other game object compare tag equals pickup. I missed that line when I was reading the script before. Okay, so now they should work. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, so the last thing I need to test is to make sure that whenever I pick up all of the game objects in the, or all of these pickups in the level, then the you win text pops up. So I'm going to change total pickups to 3, test the game out again. 1, 2, 3, and I win. That is the marble game, but that is a terrible version of the marble game. I want you to make a much better version. Right? For example, like if this was me, I would definitely make the cubes the pickups look a lot better. I would make sure the level is much bigger than what is here. Make it nice and big. Make it a, make it a like an obstacle course. Now, here's one caution. If you make it so that the marble can fall off of the level, there is nothing in the script that will catch that and then reset your game because the marble fell off the level. So keep it contained, all right? If you want to later, after you've made this game and you want to make it even better, then maybe we can write an addendum to the script that will catch your marble if it falls off. But for right now, just have fun building this game in Unity. Have fun playing around with the 3D controls and seeing how different 3D is from 2D. And I'm going to shut up so you can get started because that's quite a lot to do. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I will see you next time. Peace.